Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio joining us here on Halftime. We get a chance to talk with Bill every Tuesday. He is the king of college football talk, hosting on WNSR from 6 to 9, Monday through Friday. Good afternoon, Bill, and welcome to the world of college football, in which an Alabama loss to Vanderbilt doesn't knock the Crimson Tide out of national championship contention. How do you like this world you live in now?
How many people had on their bingo card students marching down Broadway to chuck a goalpost in the Cumberland River? How many had that?
Have they fished the thing out of the river yet? It's tough to miss that.
The fire department did, I think, almost immediately. They were waiting.
That's the way you do it. Give them a police escort down there. Let them do it. They're going to do it. You just take care of it. And how many times? Since 1985, you talk about a bingo card. How many people had Arkansas and Vandy both winning?
In 1984, Vanderbilt beat Alabama. That's the last time, 40 years. A friend of mine, Kurt Page, who's the first quarterback, looked this up in the history of the SEC to throw for 2,000 yards, went down there and beat them with Ray Perkins. Good friend of mine, and that's before Spurrier got there to Florida. So it wasn't real sexy to be chucking that ball all over the place, but he did, and they upset Alabama 40 years ago. And then the Arkansas game. I tried to tell everybody, and I'm not going to suggest I picked Arkansas to win the game, but I tried to tell everybody a very tricky spot for Tennessee and a much improved Arkansas team waiting on them, and I don't think anybody bought into it.
I think you're right. It seemed like we were kind of causing the quarterback fits kind of the entire game. They had a little spark when Sampson got going in the third quarter, but it was almost like they never got comfortable in their own skin. They never looked like really that threatening, especially in the first half.
No question. The quarterback, who's got a lot of ability, that's the first time I've seen him shook. He wasn't shook in Norman at all, not at all, but and the offensive tackles look slow as a sloth out there compared to the defensive line for Arkansas. There's some cut-ups. I don't know if you guys seen it, of Tennessee's left tackle, Lance Hurd, who is, when he's right, a high draft pick someday. He looked, compared to the guys on the other side of the line, he looked like he was standing still. It was embarrassing how much more athletic Arkansas looked.
Which of the two teams that pulled off the upset has something to build off of for the rest of the season? I guess maybe you'd say both of them, really. It's a generational win for Vanderbilt, but it felt like Arkansas was knocking at the door a little bit. And the difference is that this is a game that last year they'd have played tight and lost. 2 years ago,
Correct.
They'd have played tight against Tennessee and found a way to lose. There is the feeling that, hey, it's a team that found a way to win a game that they might have lost the last couple of years.
Well, Vanderbilt's got to go to Kentucky. We know that's tough. And then they come home and get Texas, which might be the best team they've seen. It's the problem is, and Arkansas and Vanderbilt are clearly much improved and building and have a future to look forward to. The problem is, this is the deepest this league's ever been. The FCC has never been this deep, and it's considered the best league for decades, right? It's never been this deep. There is really no free lunch. Maybe Mississippi State struggles some, maybe Auburn on a bad day, perhaps, but it is a brutal league right now, and it's tough to get up off the mat or improve much. And look at the way the Aggies are coming on. You guys just faced them, but it's nasty, and Florida's down right now, but Ole Miss has got to go to LSU. There's a lot of question marks.
Well, that's that question mark. That was kind of one of my questions. Phil and I have been talking a little bit. I got LSU beating Ole Miss in night in Baton Rouge. I know it's not going to be easy, and I know they got to get stops. I get all that. What do you have? Do you think, and Phil and I were kind of talking, it could be an ender. Like whoever loses this game, Ole Miss or LSU, they're out of the playoff. They got to get help to make it to the playoff 12.
Correct. I would err on Baton Rouge, Brian Kelly on a Saturday night. Now, I'll say this. Ole Miss, their defensive front, you go back and watch that South Carolina, they dominated. And we know they transfer portaled well, and they recruited well at that position. That's That whole game was controlled by their front seven, but the defensive front. And LSU has not been as good on the offensive line as we thought they would. We thought that would be a strength for them. It's been a strength at times, but not consistently. But I still like LSU. I do. I like them at home in this game. It's going to take points. LSU still not where they need to be defensively.
It's Arkansas's bye right now. We're waiting on finding something out about Taylon Green's knee. The hope is that he's able to get back and be ready for LSU. But, you learned a little bit about the depth of the Arkansas team during this Tennessee game. Backup quarterback has the game-winning drive. Second string running back had a couple of huge runs there. You're on your second string kicker. You had rotations on the defensive line and the secondary. Arkansas showed quite a bit. Is this an Arkansas team that you think can pull off another upset down the line? Because when you look at the games they have left at home, LSU, Ole Miss, Texas, they get their toughest opponents at home right now, and they look like they're ready to play at home finally.
I do, but I don't think you're going to be able to win a game like you did Tennessee, meaning a shockingly low-scoring game. I don't think those teams will bog down. So you better accelerate your offense. I don't think you're going to be able to come out of there and be down 14-12 late and win the ball game. That game, you're going to be down 30-28 if you're down, and you're probably going to score a touchdown to win it or a field goal. That's my only question mark. Is it's going to be a different style game they got to win.
Football, and I guess not just football, but sports overall can be copycat things because of how coaches scout what works against opponents. The genius of Travis Williams' plan against Tennessee was 3 down linemen, 2 linebackers, 6 defensive backs. The nickel backs came up huge, and the safeties came up huge in this game. Do you expect to see other teams like Tennessee this weekend as Florida? Do you think Florida did? Part of it will be, do you have the personnel to play like that? Arkansas built a defense to play like that. They just hadn't played like that this year. Is that, do you think, a bit of a blueprint on how to go up against Tennessee?
It is, but when you have Jalen Hyatt and Cedric Tillman from 2 years ago, it didn't matter if you had 10 back there, right? You're probably not going to be able to cover them. They're just not as good as they were receiving. Now, they're good. They're better than they showed, and for whatever reason, well, for obvious reasons, Arkansas played better and made the plays that won the ball game, but it's kind of weird. Tennessee's in a weird spot, guys, in that offense has never been the problem. It's been the other side of the ball, and they're bogged down from the second half to the Oklahoma game to the Arkansas game. And I understand those are road games and tough matchups, but I don't know that I've seen a Josh Heupel offense look bewildered or shocked or lack of confidence. That's usually not the case, and that's where they're at right now. I think mentally they're not in a good spot.
You got Texas, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Oregon, and we talked about this Ole Miss, LSU. My top 3 right now, Bill, are Texas, Ohio State, and Georgia. And I know they have a loss, but if Georgia was going to play Penn State or Oregon, I'm going to take Georgia if it came down to it. How big is this game for Oregon, Ohio State? Should the winner be the new number 1?
As long as Texas wins, they're not going to jump them, I don't believe. And it looks like Quinn Ewers returns to the lineup. But it's a big game. Now, guys, these games are not as expensive as historically they are. And expensive doesn't mean the cost of your ticket to get in. It's what does it cost your season. Georgia didn't lose anything the other night when they lost to Alabama. They lost a ball game, but they've got cushion to spare still. It's not the same. It's a big game, but guys, we're in a brand new universe, literally, and a universe where we have never traveled before. And I think whoever wins that game is going to be elated. The fan base is going to be elated. And a couple of weeks ago, and you realize, okay, that was nice, but it really didn't mean much. You may have to play them 2 more times. You may play them in the Big Ten championship game and then in the quarterfinal round or something.
In this reality of college football, I don't know how long it lasts until, before the next reality of college football takes charge or takes hold,
right.
Because something's coming on the horizon. And, I mean, there's a lot that's happening this week. You get this meeting with the SEC and Big Ten athletics directors. I think starts either tomorrow or Thursday. They're talking about a kind of a scheduling partnership, and I'll bet there'll be other issues that they'll come up with about cross-conference cooperation of some sort, being that these are the two big leagues. You've got this Project Rudy that I read just a little bit about before the show started today that Ross Dellinger reported on, in which private equity money just pouring into college football to try to save the four conferences. And I don't even know what that thing's about yet, but it's coming out. You get the preliminary acceptance of the antitrust suit for the lawsuit that's going to reshape college sports. It's just like, I don't know which direction we're going to go in, Bill. I just know something's going to happen soon.
Big Ten and the SEC are going to demand a certain number of spots every year in the playoff, and they're asking for 4. That's one of the things they're meeting on. So that'd be 8 of 14 in the future once we get to 2026. And they're going to be hardcore pushing this now. They floated it this past spring just to kind of give everybody a, quote, trial balloon sense. But this is something they're going to shove hardcore into the future, and they're going to get what they want, and they're not going to join that Rudy League. That is not what they're about. You saw the commissioner of the SEC a week ago when he asked him about it. And he said, why would I go do that? Why would we give up power? They want to be us. And he's right.
Hey, Bill, is Cam Ward, I remember us talking a little bit about him last year. He was kind of going through the NFL draft and then took his name out late and ends up going to Miami. Is he the best pro prospect going for the next level right now? What is Cam Ward? How is he doing this so well?
I don't know if he's the best pro prospect. Now, he's a good quarterback prospect. He's got good size. He's got the arm. He's athletic. He brought a team back that was down 35-10 with the 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. That takes some heroics, right? And I think he's probably, if we had to vote for the Heisman today, I think he'd probably win it. But pro prospect's tough to say. Now, Carson Beck's not having the best year. You have to relegate him a little bit at the moment. I think that's wide open. But every year the quarterback position, as you know better than anybody else, is so attractive that I would have to think Cam Ward's going somewhere in the first round.
I was going to say, to your point, I think that is the biggest Heisman moment so far. I know it's an early season and we're going to have more to come. But, yes, I thought that was a big Heisman moment for him.
Bill, we'll leave it there. Appreciate you hopping on. Thanks for your time.
Hey, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Bill.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.